So on the topic of first contacts, Simplex VHF UHF. We've talked about repeaters where you don't have to do a CQ or any of that kind of stuff. It's just you just simply call out and anyone who's listening will hear you. HF, where you can say CQ. I did not think to cover that in that topic, so we'll cover that in this one as well, along with Simplex VHF UHF and all the other like Simplex type modes. So Simplex is two different possibilities. One, you know your buddy, your whatever is all on the same set of frequencies. You know there's someone there. You don't have to call CQ because you're actively reaching out to that person or persons that are on that frequency. For instance, when we caravan up to some of our events that we help out with, we will often get on 5.2 or 146.520, which we just call 5.2. Or we'll get on 446.000 UHF, and that's what we'll talk Simplex all the way up to our event and all the way back, or whatever we decide to do at that particular moment. Yes, it's a calling frequency, but I'm getting to that. So those two are known as calling frequencies, and there's also calling frequencies on many of the other channels. Many are recognized as this is calling, and then you go move to another frequency after that. Sometimes, like in the case I'm going to talk about, it doesn't really matter. It's not active enough for it to really matter, but we'll get to that. So if you're calling out to someone that you don't know who it is, or you just want to talk to anyone, you can say, hey, CQ, this is WX0 MIK or Whiskey X-Ray 0 Mike India Kilo, and you can kind of keep circling through that. I would do on HF at least a good 10 to 15 seconds of that, which should be pretty much enough for you to say it 2 or 3 times, and then you just stop and listen. Same thing with UHF, VHF. You don't have to do phonetics, but you just stop and listen to see if anyone responds. Again, give it a little time. Don't be afraid to call CQ a second time, give it some time. HF, you got to remember, there's a lot of space out there, so people may not hear you right away. On HF, you might be calling for a while before someone responds. On the other hand, VHF, UHF, your area is more limited, so if you can hit a scanner time frame, that's usually best. If someone's scanning, then they can reach out to you, or there's people who just are monitoring all the time. We have a couple people locally that will monitor it on a semi-regular basis, and then you can get lucky data contact. But here's the thing. I have listened to 5.2 calling frequency from my house all the way up to northern Minnesota and back with not a peep. It is not. I am not saying that your area is not busy, because it very well could be, but at least in the areas I have traversed, that includes the Minneapolis-St. Paul metro area. Yes, I am not out there calling either, but no one is talking on a regular basis that I've ever heard. So that is why for us it's okay to chat on it, because we're going through rural areas of Minnesota anyway, where the chances of hams finding us are fairly limited. But on the off chance that they do hear us, if they complain, okay, we'll move. If they don't complain, they're welcome to join the conversation. We're just traveling down the road 60 miles an hour and just chatting it up all the way there to keep our minds occupied while we drive, because it's all you see is cornfields otherwise. So it's okay to have a brief conversation on these calling frequencies, unless you're in an area that it is fairly busy and regularly used. Then be courteous, make your call, say let's move up to 588 or 580 or whatever kind of standard set of channels you guys may have designated in your particular area to hold that queue so often to those particular areas. We also locally have like 4 or 5, about 4 repeaters. I think they're VHF. So we can move off to repeater too if we wanted to. So you can call CQ. You can just call your call sign a few times. That works as well. But I would suggest the CQ so they kind of sort of know that you're not necessarily looking for any one person, but for anybody to contact. Am I missing anything on HF? Like if you're doing parks in the air or something like that, self-spotting really helps because it'll expedite people finding you. You can just start calling CQ, and eventually someone will find you and they will make a contact. They will spot you for you, and then more people will find you eventually. It kind of depends on how much time you have, but there are a couple ways of doing that. If you just want to talk to someone while you feel free to just call CQ, see what happens. I personally, I don't want to just idly chat with someone, so either I'm on there specifically to make contacts, or I'm not on there actually at all. But that is me personally. So get out there, try it. The worst thing you can do is maybe get corrected because something was not quite right or you didn't quite understand the protocol. And if you have a question about protocol, down below you got comments. Ask away. Ask how to make contacts. Ask specifics. Ask how you determine signal reports. Whatever it is that you think is necessary, I will take them and make more topics out of them, because right now I'm just talking off the top of my head because I'm driving and either I'm listening to podcasts or I'm doing this. And either way, it takes just as much mental capacity. So 7-3 for now, WX0 MK.